So we got our like awesome cool sweatshirts in. We be bookin'. That's my Facebook book club. What's up and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my reading wrap up for October. It is not very impressive, so don't be getting all excited. I did read 6 books this month, but I was trying to read 8 books and I just didn't get to them. I mean, I probably could have, but I need to I just go down the internet black hole. I just get sucked in. And then, I end up not reading. Definitely for 2019, I'm really going to be making a challenge for myself. I'm thinking about giving up TV, which won't be hard. I can give up TV shows for about 6 months until I hit, my first reading goal. I think I'm gonna make a 50 book goal for 2019. And then no TV until I hit the 50 books, and then I can kind of catch up on some shows and then do it again for the second half. But my biggest problem, I feel is the internet and getting sucked into Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all of that kind of stuff. But you guys should keep watching my YouTube videos. You shouldn't do this whole no internet challenge, just me. I need to figure out if you have any tips of how you get more reading done, what you do to challenge yourself to get more reading done and not, watch TV or watch internet or whatever it is. Definitely pop those down below, because I really want to just get in some better habits for 2019, especially with reading. I love reading. I legitimately enjoy it. It's just getting sucked into the internet. Sometimes I even just get sucked into the Goodreads app, and I'll just literally add books to my TBR for hours and hours. And then I'm maybe I should actually start reading those books, right? Let's go ahead and get started with today's video. I read 6 books and it was an okay month. I wouldn't say it was the best. Not all the books were, as good as I thought they were going to be. To start out, I read The Sleep Solution by W. Chris Winter, and that book was actually really good. I think I gave it 5 stars, I believe. It was very, very funny. It did talk about how a lot of people think that they're not getting a lot of sleep, but actually in reality they are. But after reading that book, now for November, I started reading a different sleep book called Sleep Smarter by Sean Stevenson, and I might go and change my rating for the sleep book for October. I just feel I'm getting more tips out of it and just a little bit more of what to do to make my sleep better. So I'll probably go and drop that down 1 star to 4 stars for the Sleep Solution. But it's definitely it was a funny, super funny read, and I did enjoy reading it. I did feel I got some things out of it, so I would recommend it for those of you that, you might want to start fixing your sleep. I would recommend both of the books to read. Then I read the book The Child Finder. I gave this book 3 stars. I don't know, there was a couple of reasons. I didn't find it a super intriguing thriller. I just kind of felt blah when I was reading it. But it follows how this little child gets lost, and this investigator, private investigator, is finding this child, and it goes through her story of her memories, because she was also a lost child back in the day. And I don't know, it was written very confusing. I felt it could have been laid out better. And I just didn't feel I don't know, I just wasn't satisfied reading the story. I don't think I would really recommend it. It was 3 stars because it was a really fast read. I could just fly right through it, but it didn't have the depth that I was looking for in a good thriller. So I was a little disappointed about that, but it might still be something that you like to read if you like to read more of those lighter thrillers. So it wasn't super crazy, you're not gonna have nightmares about it or anything like that. The next book that I read was the Book of Essie, and I gave this book 4 stars. It actually turned out to be a pretty decent book. I really loved reading about Essie's story with her being in this reality TV show. This follows a family that's actually a Christian family. It kind of reminded me of the TV shows the Duggars and all of those kinds of big families. I think they're a family of 6, and it goes through how they've made money from their reality TV show, but it kind of is, they're fake in real life. Essie is the youngest child, so she's realized that her older siblings, once they were allowed to kind of get away from it, they wanted nothing to do with the family and the reality TV. She found out a lot of who gets paid behind the scenes. So it was just a very dishonest and very untrustworthy like family. So I really liked the drama aspect in there. The only thing I did not like, which is I didn't give it 5 stars, is because the ending was very quick to ending, and it's one of those like, okay, now they lived happily ever after, and I just really don't like endings like that. Like, I would rather have an ending where like no one lives happily ever after, because, you know, that happens in real life. Like, I like real life endings. Not everyone gets their happy story. I actually would recommend this book. I thought it was a really good read. It was way different than I expected, and way different from like any other thing that I've read. If you like drama, I would totally read it. If you like reality TV shows, I would totally read it. So yeah, I was pretty happy with it. Now, the 4th book that I read was Beautiful Disaster. I only gave this book 3 stars, and it was recommended to me because I'm a huge Colleen Hoover fan, but it was just written way differently than Colleen Hoover writes her books. I like Colleen Hoover because she does write like real life situation books, and this book was just the normal like girlfriend, boyfriend, fighting all the time, getting back together. He's stupid or he does something stupid. You forgive him, you're mad at him, blah, 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 over and over and over again. It was a pretty like easy read. It captured me in. So, you know, I gave it the 3 stars because it's not like I had a hard time finishing it. After I read it, actually, even while I was reading it, I was just like, girl, you're stupid. Like, why are you getting back together with him? Like, it was very much on the verge of him being an abusive boyfriend, and I definitely would not want my own daughters to read something like that and be like, oh, this book, like, oh, the bad boy, like, everyone wants him. No, like, no. You leave him alone, go find something better. So that was the thing that really, really made me angry. And I did voice my opinion. Actually, I made a live video in my book club because I was kind of like, I was really upset by how this book kind of like portrayed itself like that. And I wasn't the only one. I actually had a couple other of the book club members that had read this book as well, and even one of them wrote to the author and said, you really shouldn't be writing books like this about girls liking the bad guys and then ending up with the bad guys. Like, you don't want that. And not everyone is going to change. That's the thing that, I know I'm rambling about this right now, but that's the thing that I don't like, is every book that is like this, I feel like, oh, they changed for the better, but like, you can't make someone change. And so I just feel like, I don't know, like, I'm 26 years old. I felt like it was a very juvenile book. And I wouldn't want someone that is that juvenile age to read that book and think that that's how relationships are. Okay, I'm done rambling about that book now. So sorry about that. Now, the 5th book that I read for this month was such a great book. Like, it literally was so good. It is Bird Box by Josh Malerman, and if you haven't read it yet, you need to go out and read it right now because Netflix is actually going to release the movie on December 21st. But if you like any type of like suspense, apocalyptic, slightly horror-ish, dystopian type books, like, this book literally fit in like all of those categories, and I absolutely just loved it. It was amazing. 5 stars. If I could give it more, I probably would. But I flew through this book. I read it physically. I listened to the audiobook. I hit a deer in my car while listening to the audiobook, and it scared me a lot, but it was totally worth it. This book is about this kind of like apocalyptic world. And if you've seen the Quiet Place movie, it kind of reminded me of that, but instead of having to be quiet all the time, you can't go outside and look at anything. So a lot of the people, you know, you just wear blindfolds. Yes, you can live in a house or in a building, but there's like these creatures that roam the earth, and no one has like seen them because if you look at them, it drives you completely nuts and you end up committing suicide and like hurting a lot of people. So it follows this young lady, Mallory, and she ends up like, she has 2 kids, which you'll find out in the very beginning, but it's like a flip-flop back and forth story. So you'll, you know, find out who she is right now, like with her 4-year-old twins, I believe. So I actually really like the flip-flopping. I think it was done really well in this book. I know it's becoming more popular. Some people don't exactly like it. I did this as a book discussion in my book club, and it was one of the most like intriguing discussions that we've had so far because this book was just amazing. Like, if you're thinking about it, like, I just kept putting myself in Mallory's position and like, what would I do? Like, how could you live that way? You know, always pretty much living in the dark. Like, it was crazy. I highly, highly recommend this book. Absolutely amazing. And then the last book that I read was The Glimpse Beyond the Aether. I hope I said that right. I have no clue if that's how you say it. And this book was given to me by the actual author, Susan Francis. Thank you, Susan, so much for sending me this book. So this book follows, again, like a post-apocalyptic or kind of like dystopian theme, but it does have a lot of sci-fi in it. I did rate the book 3 stars, and I don't want to go too much into it because I feel like it wasn't my type of genre to rate. It was very sci-fi-ish, and that's not something that I technically read, so I feel like I gave it a lower rating than, you know, someone that's reading that genre. But if you go on Goodreads, there's also some of my other friends that really liked the sci-fi genre, and they rated this book 5 stars. So if you're one of those people that really, really loves sci-fi, kind of spacey, scientisty kind of things, then I highly recommend that you check out Susan's book. Susan also sent me her next book, Breaching the Century, and this is also kind of sci-fi, but a lot more romance. So I'm actually excited. I do want to try and get this on my list. I didn't talk about it in my November TBR because I just have so many books right now to read, but I'll read the back for you just so that you guys can, you know, check it out on your own. This book was just released. The greatest weapon of mass destruction is time invasion. Our history can be altered, our present can be changed, and our future can be rewritten. A young detective is determined to solve a murder, even though clues disappear and memories fade. To solve an unorthodox crime, Detective Nightshade teams up with unusual allies, a beautiful young psychic who can command the elements, and a group of aliens called Sentries, who have secretly protected the Earth for 1,000 years. As evidence evaporates and the crime itself is forgotten as reality changes, Nightshade risks the existence of those he loves to learn the truth. A big thank you to Susan for sending me her last book and this book. Super excited. A lot of my book club members are really appreciate it. So that is all for my wrap up for October. Hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to start doing like reading vlogs or any other type of bookish video for 2019. I really, really love talking books with you guys, and I don't know what you want to see. Do you like the reading wrap-ups? Do you like my TBR videos? Do you like bookish tags? Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye, guys!